We're fixing for a good day. Day 3, episode 19.
Episode 19. We're saddling up for a spectacular
Yeehawing.
Yeehawing.
Yeah. This Texas slang is coming in good here in Texas.
Yeah, we're really fitting in well.
And we actually have an action-packed show today. We have so many live guests. We're figuring out how to make that work.
We have so much content to get into on today's show. So excited. Before we do, Brianne, let's, as we always do, let's give a daily rundown of what's in store here on Friday, September 6th at Mecum Dallas. We have 381 vehicles crossing the auction block. Those are coming partly from 7 different collections, 2 of which we'll be detailing on today's show. And there's 63 pieces of road art. And Brianna, as we always do, we got to spotlight some of the merch that we have available.
And I'm actually wearing one of our newest sweatshirts, which seems to be selling off the shelves this weekend. It's actually the top seller. I've seen quite a few customers walk around with this hoodie this weekend.
So we also have a Dallas event exclusive tee with a Datsun Z on it, which is also tying into today's show. And then I think we have another popular hit with the blue tank. I heard that Matt Morvac wore that on the block.
You know, he saw you wearing it on the first day of the morning show, so
yeah.
He was inspired. So he felt like he had to go get one too. Both Matts in a blue tank. I think there's a song, a Texas country song to that.
I think so.
Yeah.
If you're coming out to the auction, you can get all of the latest merch. You can see all of it here on the red carpet, just down from where our morning show is. And then, of course, if you want to shop either en route or if you missed something, you can find that at mecum.com/shop. You can find all the gear there.
You can.
Yesterday, there was a lot going on, and you were involved with, we had some special guests. Fill me in on who they were, and then what all did you showed them around? Is that correct? You gave a tour?
I did not give the tour. I just gave an introduction. It was great meeting with the kids from Tech Force. There's about 60 kids yesterday, and there'll be another 60 today. And the kids are in an automotive-focused industry tech school. It was great to learn like why they were doing it. And today, I think I've conned you into coming in with me because where you started as a car technician, leading into being an author. Kind of showing them that the buck doesn't stop somewhere. There's so many paths that someone can take. It was really inspiring hanging out with the kids. I did not go on the tour, but I did jump in and out throughout the day to check on them to make sure they're having fun.
No, we love having the students from Tech Force out, and I like interacting with them. I have given a couple tours before and really looking forward to today's tour. I like seeing just their kind of imaginations be expanded, just seeing what does the automotive industry look like. Because like you said, my career path, how I kind of got where I am at, I had no idea it would lead here, but it's been quite a ride, and it all started with repair.
How did that path change for you? So you went from a car technician and then ended up being an author of 2 very good books on Camaros.
Correct. So I started off in a VOTEC program in high school. I did that, and then that fed me right into a dealership setting where I apprenticed a master tech for a couple years. I was able to work at a Mercedes-Benz dealership and then a BMW dealership. And then I kind of started playing with some cameras and got a film degree. And then I was it was a good opportunity. I started working for the TV show Motor Week, which is still in the air, that kind of combined that repair knowledge with that formal storytelling. And then kind of fast forward 20 years, and here I am hanging out.
Hanging out with me. This show, and then you have On the Move with Matt, where I send you to very exciting locations.
That's right.
That you don't usually know about in advance.
No, but I've got the suit and ready for the route.
Rootin' suitin'.
Rootin' suitin'. But it is very exciting, and I would encourage any of the younger viewers watching, if you do want to get engaged in the automotive industry, and you are in that high school range, look into Tech Force. We'll have to find a little bit more and maybe recap tomorrow just exactly where they are. I forget some of the regions, but I know they're very active. I know they've come out to auctions before.
Yeah, I think there was a group in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a couple other auctions auction locales that we've been to so far.
Yeah, so we'll have to report back, and I'll give you some highlights of my tour on tomorrow's show.
I'm going to quiz you.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
All right. So we have a exciting guest who's going to be joining us.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And it's one of the large collections that's here at the auction. And to kind of set the scene, our EP, Alyssa, had a brilliant idea of how to kind of introduce the cars, because there's a very distinct theme.
Hi, I'm John Morton, and this is the 240Z we've won so many races with. Now, this one's been specially modified for racing, but many of the features that make this car a champion on the racetracks also make it an excellent performer in the street. Power, for instance. There's a 2.4-liter overhead cam engine up there, and it really moves out. The handling is special, too, with fully independent rear suspension. And the Datsun has big disc brakes up front. When you're going this fast, I wouldn't have it any other way. Best of all, Datsun is more than just a fine racing machine. It's a luxurious GT car with all the trimmings. After all, there's more to life than winning races.
I really do miss the car commercials of the old days. Like, there's so much fun with them, right?
They are, and especially when you're talking about such a fun model like the Datsun Z. And we're excited to have join us now Joseph Angelone of the Joseph Angelone Z car collection.
That's correct.
Did we say the last name right?
You did. You got it.
See, we practiced off
We did
camera.
practice. We did.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Joseph. We're so excited to have you on to talk about not only your cars, but your passion. I've had some dialogue with you, and you really love the Datsun and now Nissan Z. Where did that all get started?
Yeah. My father and I had done some trading when I was young to get my first car, and I started with a K5 Blazer and sold it. And he basically gave me half the money and said, "You're on your own. Go figure it out." And I got the bright idea of spending all of it on a 1979 280ZX silver bullet, no T-tops, just as bare model as it could be. And I thought it was the greatest thing on the planet. I could work on it. I could mess with it. And I didn't need him. It was a little bit of independence, and thought it was great until I wrecked it. But the good part about that is it brought enough money in a totaled vehicle that I was able to buy another one and another one and another one. So it kind of got me started on my own trading, and that's where it all started from.
Here at the auction, you've got I'm curious, over the span of your collecting, how many Zs do you think you've interacted with or owned?
I've owned, I would say around 40. Yeah,
Also not much.
just a few, all different models, from the 240 all the way up to the brand new Nismo, and I don't think I've skipped one. I've owned probably one of every one of them.
What is it about the Z's that's where your focus was?
For me, it was that, again, it was the independence thing, and on the earlier cars, they're easy to work on. The engineering's great, and it gave you a sense of accomplishment when you just had to mess with one little thing and you got the car back on the road. I just thought it was great, and I stopped collecting them when I got married, and
That happened. That happened.
I was married for about 15 years, and the year that I got divorced, we started back up again. And so that was about 12 years ago, and now we're here where we are.
So you're selling 8. Do you still have more?
I do. I have a couple that are in progress, and then I have my eyes on some other ones, but I got to clear some inventory first.
Gotta make some
I'm out of garage space, yeah.
One of the highlights that I've learned a lot about is Geno's conversion, and I will say I had not come across that before. Joseph, fill Brianna and I in. What is a Geno's conversion, and what's the significance of it?
Yeah, it's a homologation of the 240Z so that they could race them. So they could be members of the G class with the Porsches and Ferraris and all of the other race cars. But it includes a front end conversion, some fender flares, and a tail on the back that basically help the car stay on the road and protect it during a race. That conversion originally was only available in Japan, and later you could order it in the U.S. And the nose that's on this car came from Japan and was put on it about 15 years ago.
So the 8 that you're selling, why did you choose these 8 to bring to Mecum?
They were ready. One of my favorite, one of my favorite things to do with these cars is you get them and they're in whatever state they are. They might need something little, they might need a lot, and the cars that are here have gone from needing nothing to needing a complete restoration, and these are the ones that are, if somebody buys them, they can get in them and drive them, or they can park them, or they can do whatever they want, but they all work, and everything works on them, and they're in very good condition. And when I sell a car, I want somebody to be able to just go with it. I don't want them to have to do anything.
Is there an emotional aspect when you sell a vehicle? Like, especially like you choose to sell it at Mecum, right? So you end up potentially seeing the buyer and seeing the fight in the crowd, and like, how does that feel emotionally for you?
For me, it's been going on all morning. Are you really going to do this? Is the question. But yeah, I have an emotional tie to every one of my cars, and seeing them go at no reserve is a
nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Nerve-wracking.
Did Brett talk you into
He
that?
did.
Yeah.
He did. He said, "Yeah, this is what I think we should do," and I just said, "Okay." And so I've got some friends coming. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep it together.
You know, I stand right there, so I'll come and like build the excitement around you, and
Yeah.
we'll just do, some things.
That'd
you
be
know.
awesome. I'd appreciate it. I'm gonna need it.
I got you. I'll be your cheerleader.
Very good.
Do you give cars names? This was a conversation we had yesterday. Is like I know the people that have like one or two cars, like our executive producer names all of her cars and motorcycles. Like, but you build them and restore them to sell them. But like, do you? Name
I don't name them. Mine's more about the story.
Yeah.
And so every one of my cars has a great story. Usually when I'm looking for them, if the car doesn't have something that sets it apart from the others, I won't buy it.
Yeah.
And so if we went through every single one of those cars, they all have a cool story,
Yeah.
and they all have something that sets them apart. It's not just a run of the mill one of 100,000 cars that they built. They're all something interesting about them.
Off topic, but on topic. Is this your first time selling with Mecum?
First time selling.
So why did you decide to choose Mecum? I'm always interested because there's a variety of avenues that people can choose. Is it because Brett's so amazing, or
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
No, it's really a timing thing.
Yeah.
For me, I've had one or two cars available or ready to go at any given time, and I've sold those in other platforms. But for me, when I had 8 ready to go all at the same time, I said I got to have something good, and I come to this auction every year. I live in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so,
So
it
you
makes
come as a
sense.
spectator and a
I've come
buyer?
as a buyer. Yeah, I bought several cars here. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's
Lots
kind
of
of full
fun.
circle for you,
Full circle. This first time being on the other side. First time. No
which is a little
reserve.
more nerve-wracking.
Very intense.
But we've got you.
Thank you.
We've got you. We got. What's in this box?
So one of the cars that I have is a 2023 proto spec new Z. They only made 240 as a tribute to the 240Z.
Yep.
I own car number 18 of the run, and as part of that, Citizen did a deal with Nissan to make limited edition watches that match the car.
I love
This
a good watch.
is one of 100. It is color coded to match the car, and
Put that up.
yeah, and it's got Fairlady Z in the bezel, and it comes with a key fob for the car.
I'm not going
I
to
don't want you to dump it out.
I'm not dumping it out. Look at my
But,
co-host here.
Yeah,
That's great. Can I take it out
Yeah,
real
absolutely.
quick? All
You
right.
can put it
yeah.
on. You can do. I feel like I
Oh,
should get
can
on a
take it
knee or
home?
something.
I know. I know. Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
here we go.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, so that I brought that because that goes with the car, and
Yeah. I'm not going to take that
that's
out. It
okay.
seems- That seems a little tricky.
Yeah.
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 I've got
That's
a
pretty
question,
special.
Joseph. You're a lifelong enthusiast. What are your thoughts on that new platform? Was that an appropriate nod to the heritage of that car?
I think so. It's got a lot of elements that bring in the Z32 tail lights, the headlights that are a tribute back to the original 240Z. All very, very cool elements. I was happy that they did the Nismo,
Yeah.
and being in that Nismo is just an amazing thing. The thing jumps out of the hole. It's really, really cool. The cars that I have hardly any miles on them, but I've driven several of them. So
Is a Z that you have a daily driver of yours?
no,
No.
they never have been.
No, you're like they're too good, or
No,
like,
it's just well, at this point there were so many of them I couldn't spend any time. If I wanted to drive them all, I wouldn't have the time of day. So.
yeah.
But yeah, they're all second cars and fun cars.
It's awesome. I love when we get to meet our customers and like, just share the stories behind it. And then I'm sad that you didn't get on your knee and give me the watch, but we'll get over this. We'll get
Okay.
past this. I'll still champion for you to have a great Sunday.
appreciate it.
When
Well-
they go off the block. Yeah.
Before we let them go, I want to ask, you've also done or had some of some of these cars restored. I know you've got some great documentation showing that. Was those restoration projects that you undertook, or did you acquire these that had already been through that process?
Most of the cars, there's 4 Series 1 cars. Most of the cars were 99% complete when I got them. There's one there that's a Safari Gold car that I did from the ground up, and it's 2.5 years into it, and I'm not sure I'll take that on again, but it was fun. It was fun, and it's done, and it's great, and it's going to be a fun car for somebody.
And these are selling today?
Selling today,
Selling today.
probably they said between 3 and 4 Central Time, and
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Right there. Brett and I will be right there with you. Yeah.
very cool.
Well, Joseph, thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
I really appreciate how you've curated this group, and I know that throughout all of the cars. You really brought other pieces. I saw in some of the new ones, you had even some of the Hot Wheels cars that match.
Yeah.
You've got good documentation. These are really good collector grade Zs for people that's looking to acquire something for their collection. I don't think you can buy the watch without the car, Brian.
I didn't talk about buying it.
Okay. All right, well, as we transition, we've got a spotlight on another seller that's out here at Mecum Dallas, and this is up my alley because they brought out some Chevy muscle. Here, take a look.
Well, I'm Todd Lindsay out of Missouri. We brought this 72 SS Chevelle, a 69 C10, and a 67 SS Chevelle. We've been coming to Mecum since he was about 2 years old in the auction world, so we just enjoy it. We've got to know a lot of people, good friends with some of the Mecums themselves and a lot of the people that work here. And we always just have good success selling our vehicles here at Mecum. We put chairs behind the cars. We try to stay with our cars throughout the entire auction. And that way we can visit and just put a face with the cars. And I'm one of them people, if I'm buying a car, I want to be able to talk to people about their car. You know, I don't want to just look at it and buy something that I don't have any story on. So yeah, we always try to spend a lot of time to visit with people. This particular car I bought when I was 15 and a half back in 1986. And it's kind of part of the family, and it's a little bit special just because this is where the passion started when I was 15 years old. We restored it when I was 16, drove it through high school, met my wife in it, done a lot of cruising, a lot of racing. My kid, I have a son that's 25 years old. When he was 16, him and his buddies drove it around. So got a lot of sentimental value to us. But it's just time for a new chapter, and got other cars I want to build. So we're going to find it a new home this weekend. You know, I buy and sell some classic cars, but this particular car has a lot of meaning, and just want to be able to express the meaning and the story to potential buyers. Fortunately, the cars that I've always personally really liked happen to be what's very popular in today's market, and that's the muscle car world. Muscle cars, the late 60s, early 70s, and then we like our Chevy trucks. The trucks seem to have really come on in the last few years, but we like to watch what's popular. There's a lot of trends go up and down, and so I still try to buy them from individuals that have been in garages for years. And yeah, we do a lot of restoration work from the ground up and prepare them, get them ready to come to auction. This is our full-time business, so my son helps me, and my wife's the bookkeeper and the boss.
Oh man, I love those memories, especially when they're tied with some very iconic Chevrolet muscle in that case. But guys, we're going to transition away from Chevy muscle to the Kelsey collection. I'm now joined by Gene Williams and Mike Chilton, and you guys have some deep connections to the Kelsey collection that's here at the auction. I want to hear from both of you. How did you get involved with the family and the group of cars?
I became close to John Kelsey, Paul's son, at the University of Missouri. We're both from Canada, but weren't that close until we were in college. After that time period, became close friends to the extent that we talked a lot of cars, and some short stories about some of the cars here if you'd like to hear.
Well, before we get into those, what about you, Mike? I know you kind of started off, I think you were employed at the museum. How'd you get connected?
My first day was when I was on my 13th birthday. Unloaded a truckload of tires from Des Moines, Iowa, 1,200 tires. I had never been so tired or so covered in carbon black in my life, and I was earning $1.10 an hour. And I worked for John all the way through college, and that's how I put myself through college, was saving money from running tires and working on cars.
As he acquired more and more vehicles, was there an overarching theme, or did he just kind of purchase things that attracted his eye?
Mike may have a better answer. I would say the latter. Several of the vehicles were purchased locally. Of course, some of the like the urban trucks, of course, were not purchased.
He was very particular about the cars that he got, and as you can see in some of your information, they're always like one of a few hundred or one of a few dozen. So he was very particular. I was surprised at how many he got locally. I just learned that in talking to Gene this morning. A lot of the Packards came from one family in Minnesota. Paul was originally from Minnesota and had this relationship with his family. So a lot of the Packards, 42 convertible, the 40 Opera Coupe, almost all of those Packards came from one family in Minnesota.
Wow. And I know, like you were saying, Gene, a lot of the cars are one of one because they're early. They're very early examples of transportation, like early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. It seemed like that was something that he really wanted to celebrate, is showing where we've come with transportation.
It's a fair statement. Like the Studs, for example, Paul enjoyed not only owning it, carrying it as a car, but also I was sharing stories about Paul's driving the Studs. One particular time, I was mentioning to Mike that I was happened to be driving by where the museum is located. Paul was coming the opposite direction in the Studs. He later got a ticket for, I was told by John that the ticket was for something like 90 minutes. He may have, the time the speed may have been embellished.
Sure.
But
But it was certainly high.
But he thoroughly enjoyed the cars. He did just great music.
Did you have the chance over your years to either get behind the wheel or to ride along on any of those adventures?
I got to ride in several of the cars. Every once in a while, I would come home and get off the school bus, and Paul would be sitting in the driveway with one of the cars. And happened to be the Studs one time. And he gave me this little leather helmet and goggles and took me for a ride before I went to work after high school. And it was the same kind of thing. There was only one stretch of 4-lane road there. We called it Lynn Creek Hill. And Paul was going down Lynn Creek Hill in that Studs Bearcat. I think it was around 70. He had the muffler bypass out, so it sounded like a cannon. And I was absolutely terrified. Here's this old man just having a ball, and I was like 14 years old and terrified riding down the hill. He was not afraid to drive that Studs.
Would you guys say that your connection to Paul and the family, did that help to spark within each of you a deeper love for cars? I mean, I know you were impressionable at that age, being a young boy. Was that certainly the case for you? Is that it really kind of ignited a fire to love vehicles?
Well, honestly, it's a disease. But during my career, I moved around a tremendous amount until about 10 years ago. And in the last 10 years, I bought 5 cars. And I'm currently working on a 53 Jag XK120 drop head coupe. And it's all because of the Kelseys. So I blame them, and that's what I tell my wife.
In my case, I'd say it certainly has. And I had to wait till a little later in life to really indulge myself in cars. But I've rebuilt and built cars for the last 45 years. I think I'm working on 11. Some of my cars are good.
Okay. What was the impact of the museum in the area? I mean, certainly that was a high, a destination for a lot of people, and I'm sure it impacted the town and the.
When Paul was moving his family to Minnesota, their objective was to relocate to Florida. And on their way to Florida, they passed through the Lake of the Ozarks area and specifically focused on the site where the museum is located, and made the decision to locate there rather than going on further south to Florida. And the impact on the community was fantastic. The admission tickets were 50 cents. affordable. So very, very major attraction. Really authentic groups for the area. So some of my family had business, show business, that sort of thing in the area. Very appreciative and compliment the business. So what we're all doing.
And I heard that popcorn was a big part of the museum.
Well, John, when he started collecting cars in 1928, he had a candy and popcorn business in Albany, Minnesota. And went into the car business full time when he moved the collection down to Camden. So, yeah, they had a calliope that was loud as could be to play music to draw people in. You could hear it forever. But that collection started with popcorn.
Wow. Well, I think my final question for both of you guys is, what's the legacy that Paul left behind, both on the motoring world and then just as a friend to both of you?
Well, for me, taught me how to work and work ethic. He had two nicknames for me. One was Sundial, because he said I had no moving parts. And then the other, he called me
like that.
He called me Steamboat, because it looked like I was working hard, but I wasn't making any progress. You know? So that work ethic has stuck with me. That's where I remember this.
Did you get a fun nickname? Did you get a fun nickname from Paul?
I did not.
Oh, man. We'll have to come up with one for
My
G.
father was close to Paul. I was a friend with John's, but I wasn't that. I think it was scary to see what nickname I got.
He was a character, a real character.
Oh man! Well, we are excited to have his cars here. Thanks for you guys being part of this and telling a little bit more about the story. I know that the Kelsey collection is a big part of what we're doing here at Mecum Dallas, and we're so excited to hear these firsthand memories. And thanks for watching. If you want to find out more about these cars, you can obviously come out to the auction or head over to mecum.com. Drop us a comment wherever you're watching this, and be sure to tune in to the live TV coverage starting very soon. We'll see you here tomorrow on Mecum in the Morning.